I had like dirt, like all, like from my like tits to my knees, all the way down to my one side. I can't put this on the internet. Hi everybody, how are we doing? This is a very impromptu video. I was not planning on doing this, but for the introvert that I am, when there are days when I am feeling chatty or like I want to be in front of a camera, I really need to take advantage of them. And this is one of them. So I don't know exactly when this is gonna come out, but obviously this is all different. I just wanted to sit and chat with you for a second. There's a lot kind of going on, and I've been really wrestling with this. And again, this was not planned. Like, I have half eyelashes on, maybe like one on over here, because I just like haven't had the time to get myself together, and definitely was not planned. But you know what? That is the point. So I thought I'd just pour myself a glass of wine, we'll sit and chat, and you know, we'll just see how this goes. It's probably gonna be rambly, not gonna lie, and I'm losing the light very quickly. Since I started this journey, I am very much a perfectionist, especially when it comes to aesthetics. And when I was in my tiny home, because it was so charming and small and aesthetically pleasing wherever I put the camera, it was really easy to have angles and pretty shots and, like, you know, decor and things, because it was small for one, and two, it was just so charming mostly. Or maybe just because I loved it so much, like, I really liked the shots a lot better. But then that chapter ended, and I didn't know how to continue this on in the new chapter, because even though I was in a new place and there was lots to discover and lots to do, it was very like at a whim, lots of moving, lots of figuring things out, still not finding a place that I really wanted to settle down, you know. And I talked about this in, I think, my last post or something. I've really come full circle again, kind of back to the tiny home kind of feel with my family, living on the same property as my family. It's just that things aren't aesthetically pleasing yet because we're literally building it from scratch, right? So this video is very hard for me because there's like popcorn from the snack I made earlier, and this is not ideal, but this is real life. And I have always said that I want this to be the good, the bad, and the ugly of life, right? I don't want to show you just some highlight reel. I want this to be very much the ups and downs of life. I have written about that before on my blog. I think I've spoken about it in videos. There are many videos that I've taken up and put back down and things like that. So sorry if I get a little, I'm not exactly sure what is and is not out there right now, but I have definitely written about this before. And I'm kind of in a stage right now of refinding my voice. Again, when I was in the tiny home, I was in a very, very good mental state. I was very focused on me and my mental health and where I was in my journey. And since then, over these last few years, it has been very up and down in a good way. Nothing is bad. None of this is bad. Like, my life has been wonderful and I've had a lot of experiences, but the tiny home was such a healing, beautiful space for me that I am trying to get back to that space. I was grounded in who I was and what I wanted and what I was looking to do, and I have really been refocusing on finding that groundedness and what I want from my life and what I want to share here again. I've been rereading some things and I'm very much like coming back to the same sort of message and just getting back to what is it that I want to share. And so I've been really regrouping and refocusing after this journey of moving out of California and thinking I wanted to be somewhere, and then realizing that is not, as much as I love it, it's not the right place, because honestly it's just too big. I loved everything about North Idaho. Other than that, it was just too big for me. It's beautiful, everything it has to offer, the people. I loved my work and the community and the friends that I had, and my boyfriend is still there. You know, there's this whole community and life there that I love. What I wanted for my life and for my family and for my business was not the right place. It was just too big. It was just, and it's just getting bigger and bigger as much as I love it, you know? It's just, I mean, it's such a beautiful place that everybody wants to be there. That's why it's expanding, and that's a beautiful thing for them. It's just not right for me. And that is fine, as I speak to myself more than anyone in saying that. That's fine. That It's too big. But circumstances in my life kind of jumped the gun on the timeline. Again, and getting back to what it is that I want to share, what's important to me, and kind of coming full circle again, I want to show the good, the bad, and the ugly. And so this is the ugly right now. There's popcorn on the thing. I still have coffee, like, it's a shitstorm. It's not cute. Like, if anything, it's not cute, because you know why? Because currently we are no longer in the rental, and I am living in a motel. That was the point of this whole thing, is that I am living in a motel because I can get out to the ranch, but because the county road is only maintained to our neighbor's house. So from our neighbor's house to our property, which is still a few miles, it is not maintained. So that means that we have to clear it of snow, and there are major snow drifts that come over this road. This road, and I am not experienced enough to be able to clear the road, and I have to work still, and so, like, off property, and so I can't be out there all the time. So if it's snowing all day and I have to be on the dozer every few hours to make sure that the road is clear, because with those snow drifts, that's the way it would be, I can't guarantee that. Like, even if I did it every single day, by the time I got home from work on nights, there would be times when I still would not be able to get out there. And so, again, we jumped the gun a little bit. And my dad and I have had so many conversations and trying to get it ready and trying to figure out ways that we could, so I could be out there over the winter. It just is a little bit too soon. It just isn't going to happen right now. And this lighting is changing because the sun is going down and it's not great. So I apologize for that. So that's where we're at. I'm living in a motel, and I'm not going to lie to you, it's a little depressing. My situation is very temporary, obviously, but it is hard for me. I think mostly because I really like pretty things. I like my spaces to be pretty. I'm very much a homebody. Like I've said 100 times already today, I'm an introvert. I need to have my cozy cottage. I mean, honestly, my cozy little cottage with a fire going and, good food cooking on the stove, and it smell nice and it be a pretty color. And not only is this the chaos and like haven't cleaned it up for myself, but also it's just like ugly, like this beige wall and this freaking lamp and all of the things. Like, it's not fantastic, but it's just for a few months, right? And so I'm going to take this time to really kind of hone in on my blogging YouTube skills, because the hardest thing about this is that this is like a full-time job, and I already have a few other jobs. And so it's a lot, and there's, especially when you have a fear of judgment the way that I do, and I also don't want to share too much, right? Like, I want to keep a little bit of our privacy, and I do want to be real, and I do want to share all the things. I just want to keep a little bit of security, which is smart, I think. And anyway, most of the time I'm just like, I don't know why anybody would want to see any of this, but I know that if it were me, and as much as I love the very aesthetic accounts, like, I follow those all the time, and I really hope that someday I could show you a little bit, like, from a creative standpoint, right? I think that would be very fun to create all those aesthetically beautiful videos. I love those, like, they're beautiful, and I love to escape through them. Look, kind of like a Hallmark movie, like, but like a Hallmark movie, it's not fucking real life. Excuse my profanity, like, that's not reality. This is reality. Like, things are just happening, and life is too much, and I'm sure there are so many people who can relate to me, but I want to show it all. I want to have the good, the bad, the ugly, and the beautifully curated, so I'm sure there are plenty of like gurus out there like, no, you need to niche down, and no, you shouldn't show that. But I'm just finding that, like, if I don't show you my face with no makeup and half eyelashes, if I don't, start taking you along on the reality of the situation, on the reality of ranch life, of having a homestead, like, I will never take you. Does that make sense? Like, it won't happen, because that isn't real life. Yes, there are beautiful moments, so many beautiful moments, and many I've caught on film and so many I haven't, that I can't wait for the time when like I'm ready to show those things. But it's like I feel like I'm waiting for me to be ready, right? Like to share the reality of what it is to start a homestead from scratch, like nothing. Like there is so much dirt. I've heard people talk about this, but holy shitballs, the amount of mud and dust and dirt that is involved. Like it's like you should see the Jeep right now. People keep asking me if I went off-roading, and no, I'm just driving. Sorry, I got excited and bumped the camera. I'm just driving. You see how there's not a good angle anywhere. Oh my God. Nothing is a good angle. It's all bad. The amount of dirt and mud. And we don't even have animals yet, people. We don't even have to deal with the poop yet. Just to be completely frank, we're not even dealing with that yet. And I find, like, I went to work the other day and I had like dirt from my like tits to my knees, all the way down my one side. And I was like, what like, I don't even look presentable. Like, how did this even happen? I don't know how this happened. I don't know what happened. I must have rubbed up against something, but I don't even know what it was. I can't put this on the internet. But that is the reality of the situation. So if I just keep waiting, I'm all red. If I keep waiting for it to be this beautiful, aesthetic, picturesque thing, I am never going to take you along on the journey. And I really want to take you along on the journey. Again, I'm doing a lot of kind of behind the scenes work of kind of building my message, kind of like what it is that, like, what's my purpose behind doing this? Why am I doing this, right? Because there are going to be so many days when this is going to be a fucking chore. You have to know why you want to do this and what you're doing it for and what is pushing you forward so that you can fall back on that on the days when you have mud up the side of you and you don't know what the hell happened and you wonder what the fuck you're doing with your life. Or when you live in a motel and it looks like this and there's this terrible like lighting and you just took down the TV so you can have a line of your appliances. I thought, okay, we're gonna stop again. That's where I was at a couple weeks ago. And I was really going back and forth. That's why stuff has stopped again. Because I was like, I have to stop because it's not pretty. No one wants to see it. But I do think that there are plenty of people who do want to see it. And if it were me, I want to see it. I want to know the reality of it. Like, reality TV is not real. So, I mean, that's not a good example. But I want to see what it actually takes. I don't want to see just like this whimsical, beautiful part. I do want to see those parts. And I watch that content all the time. And I want to share those moments with you as well. Some very creative, beautifully put together, edited, like masterpieces, for lack of a better way of putting it, you know what I mean? This beautiful experience of what this ranch life that is beautiful and whimsical and cottagecore and like gothic inspired, because, you know, I wish I was a gothic fairy somewhere. And, you know, it's just not the reality. Like, yes, those are all moments. Those are all things that have happened to me and are happening to me more and more because of this life, because of this simplified, slowed down life that I love so much. And I want to create and curate those moments in my life and then share them with you. But mostly I just want to experience them in my life. But then I also want to be able to share them with you and have like this creative outlet where there's this beautiful thing. But then also there are the times, more often than not, where you're covered in mud and, you know, parts of it that are not glamorous, that are not beautiful, that are not whimsical, that are not, you know, pretty. I know that everybody loves the apartment series and everybody's really excited about the apartment series. I'm really excited about the apartment series. I wish that I had enough time to only show you the apartment, but I don't. that is not reality. And so like I was really thinking that I would just stop until we could pick up the apartment again. But I don't think that's a good idea. If you're new or if you're old, please just give me a little bit of grace, I think is what I'm asking. And I'm just trying to give you a heads up, because I don't want to put things out just to put things out. I guess what I'm saying is please just show me grace and respect, and like understand that like these next months might be a jumbled mess. If you get frustrated with me and my ramblings or my random content that like doesn't really make sense and it really is not pleasing to the eye, because I'm gonna be like making sourdough in my motel, which again is real. I see value, and I live in a motel. And during the next months when we are transitioning through winter, because I cannot get out to our ranch, I have to snowmobile into the ranch right now, which is very doable. I have it set up. I can do all of that. It's fine. The issue is that I work very late into the evening. And so me snowmobiling at 11 o'clock at night when there are bears, wolves, mountain lions, which if you follow along on Instagram, you know all about the mountain lions. That's not feasible. I'm sorry. Like even carrying, I can't. No. I'm not gonna risk it midnight when it's 13 degrees out or lower, with the mountain lions, bears, and wolves and coyotes and just everything else. Okay, so that's where we're at. I hope you understand. I hope you stick with me. I hope that you'll find value in the chaos and value in the transition. I really think that there is value in this. It doesn't just happen. Like, there are steps that have to be made. There are things that have to happen. There are skills that need to be learned in order to make this life a reality. And so I'm just gonna figure out my systems, and I'm gonna share with you all of those things, and I hope you stick around, even though it might not be the most beautiful. Just give it a few months, and then we'll be so much beauty that like we won't even know what to do with it. And there'll be so many new things to try and do, and animals and plants and gardens and greenhouses and so many things. So much stuff that I'll probably feel so overwhelmed I won't even know where to begin with you for that. We'll have a new set of challenges. But anyway, please give me some grace. Please understand that this is the season, and that I really just want to share the reality. I will still do the beauty, because I really like those. Like, my creative side is like, ooh, I'm gonna go stand in a misty garden with a cape on. That sounds fantastic, But there also is a level of reality that I also want to share. And so, yes, this very, very, very long-winded that I'll probably edit down, but that's where we're at. That's what's going on. When I see you next, I'll have both eyelashes done. None at all. We'll see. And yeah, I love you guys. Thank you. Appreciate you. I'm so glad that you're here. And I'll talk to you soon.